it's Erin. I'm sitting down with Mike Gunton and Jon Favreau, the executive producers of Lion. So first question goes to Jon. So you mentioned that your move into working into this nature documentary really came from your collaboration with Mike and his team. So can you tell me, like, what was kind of that first impetus of knowing that this was the collaboration?
Well, although storytelling is consistent across all media that I found, and having been an actor, writer, all these different jobs, I had never done what Mike had done, but we had his storytelling and the collaborations that he had done on Planet Earth and in documentaries we found very inspiring. And as we were looking for reference for Jungle Book and Lion King for animation and naturalism, and how much people were able to feel in something that felt like a natural environment through music and editing and storytelling, we were studying his work. We then began collaborating after we met on a show called Prehistoric Planet, where we really filmed them as though they were scientific segments. And I was able to bring my skill set, which was in my team, which was the animation, the digital portion. And then just through collaborating and really clicking and enjoying working together, he presented me with the opportunity to forego all the digital work and go into the field and follow a Pride of Lions for longer than he had known. He had done it for up to 2 years for Dynasties, and now we're going to go 4 years of really deep dive. I had no interest before meeting Mike in getting into this world, but because of this collaboration, I knew it was going to lead to something interesting, and it ended up turning out to be one of the wonderful experiences of my career.
Historic, right? The first documentary to follow a lion from cub into being a king, right?
Pretty sure, yeah. There may be somebody out there who's done it without us telling us, but as far as I know, we're the only ones who've done it.
You can claim it.
Yeah.
So it was 1,400 days of shooting. Mm-hmm. There were 52 different shoots, right? So for Mike, was there a moment when you have all of that footage where you felt like, where is the story? Maybe we lost it, maybe we found it. Where was a moment where you maybe were lost in the footage and then had to come back?
I think really the story of the story is when you start, you're filming all sorts of stories because you just don't know which is going to be the one that's going to pop. Okay. After pretty quickly, we started to realize that Keo and his mother's Summer were a very special combination. And as that progressed, we started to discard some of the other stories we were going with. And then after year one, because the first year is critical in a lion's life, if they make it to 1 year, they stand a much better chance of surviving. Up to year one, 50% don't make it. Makes it to year one, and the story starts to really grow. And he clearly was going to be an amazing lion. She was an amazing mother. And, we started talking about what this sort of story was feeling like. And Jon said, this is a hero's journey. This is hitting all the archetypes. And then inevitably you started to talk about, this is a little bit like Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
So could you talk a little bit about, why do you think for audiences, a hero's journey is something that resonates so deeply? And what do you hope that they take away from this documentary, this docuseries?
Well, the monomyth, the hero's journey, whatever you want to call it, if you follow that playbook, if you follow the journey of the archetype of the coming of age, it tends to resonate with audiences. It's not so much that the hero's journey is anything magical. It's that humans are drawn to certain story types, and those who really are able to follow that form, like George Lucas was, studied anthropology, and that's storytelling resonates from generation to generation and culture to culture. Joseph Campbell talks about it with Hero of a Thousand Faces. It seems it's hard to understand at first why it would work, but we seem to be drawn to stories about that pass the wisdom of one generation on to the next. Story is the way that we organize ideas, where humans tend to think in stories as opposed to just dry facts. And so when you could have a story, especially with emotional resonance, where you feel vicariously the ups and downs, you remember it more deeply if you experience it. So the more subjective that experience is, the more those lessons will resonate. But it tends to be, as you point out, coming of age story. A reluctant hero has a call to action, refuses the call, and then dives into whatever the novel obstacle of that era is. They have to draw upon the traditions of the past, but then also evolve them and change them to face the novel challenges of the present. And so each generation progresses the traditions of whatever society that they're from, but more specifically, you're following that hero as they come of age. And there's something about that transition that we find fascinating as a species. And those stories tend to resonate the most. There's inspiration, and there's also a sense of passing down the traditions from one generation to the next.
Sure.
And I think what was exciting about this was it was absolutely legitimate to tell that story through the prism of a lion's life. We didn't impose the hero's journey on him. That he told that story. Mother Nature told that story. It just happened to go bang, bang.
But as
stop,
humans,
stop,
we were
stop.
drawn to that as it emerged, I think.
And I think as a natural history person, to allow an audience to connect with an animal on this journey and feel the trials and tribulations that that animal faces is so valuable, because I think people don't understand how tough it is to be any animal, but a lion. People think lions, God, they're the king of the beasts. They're unassailable. They're not. They have a really, really hard life. And you see it through the prism of both him, his mother, and some of the other characters in this story. It's, there is tragedy as well as triumph.
Sure. Well, I think we all can resonate with that, because we all are on our own hero's journey in a way, right? So this is a really fun game. It's called Lion or Lying.
Okay.
And if it's a lie, just say that's a lie. And if it's correct, you say lion. Okay? Rapid fire. So the first one is, there are more lions today than there were 25 years ago.
Lie.
Exactly. Today there are actually half as many African lions as there were 25 years ago, but maybe this documentary helps with that.
We hope.
Yeah. Okay. An African lion's roar is so loud that it can be heard 5 miles away.
I say lion.
I'd say lion.
Correct.
Okay.
An African lion's roar is that. Female lions are the pride's main hunters. Lion or lie?
Lion.
Lion. Exactly. That's right.
As demonstrated in our documentary.
This one's kind of fun. At a top speed, a lion could sprint end to end across football fields before an NFL player could probably even reach the 50-yard line. Lion or lie?
Over a long distance, humans always do better, but for the sprint, I think the lion would probably be faster.
I'm gonna
Yes,
go lion.
lion.
Yeah, according
Lion.
to PBS, an NFL sprinter takes about 10 seconds to cross the field, while a lion can go in about 6 seconds.
So the lesson there is...
Don't try to run.
Sorry. Okay, and
Make sure you're not the slowest person. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, and then last one, Lion is the first natural history production to document a wild lion's complete life journey from a cub to a king.
1, 2, 3.
Lion.
Lion.
Yes.
So watch Lion August 19th on
Thank you.
National Geographic, streaming August 20th on Disney Plus and Hulu.